Hello and welcome. In this video I'll be teaching you how to create a rotation type tessellation. As you see here, each shape is modified and then rotated around center points to create the final tessellation. Okay, when you open up your paint program, you may get something that looks like this, and we're going to have to adjust this a little bit so we can work with it. The first thing I want you to notice is that we don't have any ruler bars. We're going to need to add those by clicking here on View and right here where it says Rulers. And we're going to add the ruler bar. The second thing is we need this canvas to be larger. Now I recommend making, for tessellations, I recommend making it as large as you can while still being able to see the background here and underneath. That way you're not having to use the toggle bars on the top or the scroll bars on the side over here or the scroll bar underneath. You don't want to have to do that when you're trying to build your frameworks. But you do want to have enough room where you can fit comfortably 4 of these different tessellations. So that's what I recommend. Now to start with, let's go ahead and save our work, and we're going to click here and go to Save As, and we're going to save this as a ping. So again, if you don't know which one that is, just go down to here, PNG, or even a bitmap is a nice one to save it as. 16 color would be fine, or 24 color bitmap, but I typically prefer the PNG. We're going to save it as reflection, or let's go with rotation, rotation tessellation. And depending on where your teacher wants you to save it, alright, I'm saving mine in my pictures, but I know when I teach my students I have them save it in their directory at school. They have a server and they have a file on that server, and that's where I have them save their work. So again, wherever you're supposed to save it, go ahead and save it and call it rotation tessellation. Okay, so now we see this is called rotation tessellation. It tells us we're in the paint program. Very good. So these are your various shape tools, and just like the tessellation or the translation tessellation, we're going to start this with a rectangle. And let's go ahead and pick the size, and I'd like you to, sometimes it defaults to the size 5, but we're going to put it on size 3. We want the 3 pixel. And we're going to hold the shift key, because remember, what happens if you're not holding the shift keys, you get this rectangle of any size. We want a perfect square so that we know it's going to tessellate well. And I'm going to make it about that size with a little room in the, oops, Control Z. What happened there was I let go of my shift key before I let go of the mouse button. So let go of the mouse button first and then the shift key, and you should be all set. Now at this point, if you move your cursor within the square, you can kind of move it to give yourself some room around the canvas. So that's what I recommend. And then click off of it to deselect the square. Alright, now to make this interesting, when I taught you translation type tessellations, we started with a straight line tool, and you're perfectly welcome to do that. I'm just going to use the curve line tool. I just like it much better. It's more interesting to me. It creates a more interesting effect. So I'm going to start out by dragging into my square, and I'm actually going to curve this down here a little bit just to see what I can do, just to kind of make this a little more intriguing to look at. And I'll play around with this shape until I get something like that. Alright, then I'm going to continue right off the page to this corner, because remember, the object is to move from this corner into the square and then off of this corner. Now I'm going to pull this out to see what I can do with this. We need to make it a shape. We can't overlap like this, but we can do pretty much anything else. So something like that might be fun. A little more of a rounded edge. Okay. And then the same thing up here. Now you'll remember, well, let me just go back and review this. You'll remember that the line tool, the curved line tool, as soon as you draw the line, you have 2 more click and drag options that you can do. As soon as you click and drag, you can actually curve this line and make it an arc instead of a straight line. And you have two opportunities to do that. So if you haven't done so, I recommend that you play with this tool and make sure you know how to use this before. Okay, and look at that. Look at that beautiful S-curve that I can get with that tool. Okay, I'm just going to hit delete on that. But play with the tool just to see what you can come up with. And I might come down into this area here. And then bend it back. There's that S-curve again. Alright, and at this point I could actually bring this up a little bit if I don't like how close that is, and I didn't like how close that was. I'm going to bring that back here. And again, from this point off where we need to end up. And then we could round this out a little more. And then pull this back. Alright, and then I left click off. So there is my basic starting point. Now if you'll remember, in translation, we took this section, we selected, let's see, make sure my transparent is selected. We selected this portion and we hit Control C, Control V, and we brought this portion from here down. Now in rotation, we need to rotate this portion, so we're actually going to need to bring it over here so that it'll fit right here. And so what we're going to do is just take that same selection, place it over here, and then we're going to rotate it. Oops, let's resize. Rotate to the left, just like this. And if you see how it disappears, all you have to do is just click and drag this out just a slight bit so it appears there. Alright, and then we're going to take this and attach it. And now we can take and resize it back up just slightly so that this is perfectly aligned here. That's really what we're after. And again, I can nudge that up with my tool. Maybe nudge this top down just a little bit. Till I have it perfectly aligned here and here. Okay, now this is again a rotation. So we're rotating this to here, and then we're going to rotate this piece down to the bottom. So again, with my selection tool selected, make sure it says transparent, that there's a checkbox there. I'm going to select this area, Control C, Control V, and again I need to rotate this, except this time I'm going to rotate it to the right 90 degrees, and again I might have to just pull that out a little bit just so that I can see it. There we go. And I put that here, maybe nudge this edge back just a touch. Okay, now at this point I'm going to begin to erase the parts that I don't need. Alright, so what I'm going to do is zoom in, take my zoom tool and zoom in on this, and makes it a little bit easier. And remember, you can change the size of your eraser tool. So select the eraser tool and you can change the size, make it smaller or larger depending on what you need to get the job done. So again, I'm going to erase to clean this tessellation shape up. What I recommend is letting go, nudging your eraser tool into the place, and then left clicking. As you can see I'm doing. I nudge it into place, then I left click and I drag it away. That way you don't end up making too many mistakes. Again, just give it a click. Looks a little thick up here. I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Alright, I don't need any of this, so again I come in here, left click and drag away, left click and drag away. I got a little close there, so I'm going to hit Control Z because I want that line to be a little bit thicker than it was. That looks good, and so I'm being very careful in here, and you can change the size of your eraser down a little bit smaller if you need to. Now, when I look at this, I follow this line around, making sure it's a solid line all the way around, and I get to here, and I see there's a little gap there. What I'm going to have to do then is take my line tool and just connect that edge. Alright, left click, and that looks pretty good. I could still erase a little bit just to clean it up. So right in here, if I just come in, I can clean this up just a little bit. Alright, I think that looks good. Now, what in the world is this thing going to be? That's our next task, is to turn this into something. So we're going to select it and move it at first. Alright, so we select our template. We're going to hit Control C and Control V to paste to give us 3 different versions or variations, you might call them. We're going to click on Rotate to the right to give us another option. So this looks much different than this. We're going to hit Control V again, bring it down here, and this time we're going to hit Rotate to the right and then do that a second time, Rotate to the right. So it's like a regular tessellation template, rotated a quarter turn here, rotated 2 quarter turns here, and then we're going to do that one more time. Hit Control V and bring it down here, and we're going to rotate once, rotate twice, and rotate a third time. And so we've got these 3 different looking, although they're the same shape, they look very different, and we could, our immediate glance tells us they're a little bit different, and we could turn them into 4 different variations that will still tessellate. Alright, now we're going to be into the fun part here. This is the creative part. It's also the most challenging part, as well as being the most interesting and fun part. We're actually going to take each one of these. We've got 4 different tessellations, and we're going to create 4 variations. And so what I like my students to do is to save this as rotation, tessellation, options, or you can call it variations if you'd like. Rotation, tessellation, options, because really we're creating 4 optional variant ways of creating reflection type tessellations. And in fact, you could combine 2 of these in the end if you would like to. So let's go ahead and design each one of these as a unique possibility for our rotation tessellation. So I'm going to zoom in like I've just done and then cancel that tool. We'll probably be using the curved line tool and the straight line tool and also the oval tool, perhaps even the rectangle and some of these other tools. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff you could add to this design. Okay, so again, none of these are off limits. I'll probably limit myself to these first 3, but that doesn't mean you need to. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. What I tell my students is, as you look at this shape, you want to try to figure out what does it look like, and if you can't think of anything immediately, then you can add an eye, and usually adding an eye to something will actually make it stand out and look realistic. So what I would do in this case is I would start with an eye. Now notice how big that is. That's kind of big. So I'm going to shrink that down because I don't like the size of that. And the beauty of this is in Windows 7 you can actually shrink it down pretty small. I'm going to go with the 3 pixel line and then get in here and move this and if I don't like that eye, I can modify it or make it a little different. So I like that where it is. Put it there. And then I'm going to take a straight line, and I'm going to bring the straight line through it, kind of to make it a lazy looking eye. And then I'm going to take my little paintbrush tool, spray paint guy right here, and I'm going to spray. I could spray down here so he's looking down a little bit. Something like that. So he's looking down a little bit. Gives it some character. Now I'm going to take my curved line tool, and this actually reminds me of like a Daffy Duck type of thing. So I'm going to actually bring this out a little bit, kind of like the top of a. So I clicked twice. If you notice there, I clicked twice to drag that out. And again, you may need some practice with the curved line tool, but that's fine. So I'm going to make this guy with a big exaggerated beak here. Not quite so exaggerated. Play with that, just kind of visualize what it would look like. I don't like that one. I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to come from this side and bring it to here. And maybe something more rounded like that. Alright, so I grabbed twice. And then definitely I'm going to come from here up to here and then bend this line down and maybe even give it a little bend here. And then we'll circle. Alright, so there we go. Now I could add a little humor. What I'm thinking is you could do this a couple different ways. Use a little line tool here. I can kind of see him licking his lips here, trying to fly. And so he's kind of exhausted, so I'm going to round out his little tongue here. And then put a little straight line. I'm just having fun, as you can see. Something like that. So looks like he's been flapping for a while. He's kind of tired out. Alright, let's see. What else can we do here? We don't want to leave this part empty. Why don't you want to leave that part empty? It doesn't look complete. It looks like you focused up here, and if we were to block out this area, what would be left? There'd be nothing to tell us what this is. So we can always add texture. I have my students add textures. So I like to use the curved line tool, and I like to draw kind of a bend here that sort of follows the wing. Alright, kind of an S curve line here, and then maybe some no, I'll go with the curve tool again just because it gives it a little bit more interest. Curve tool. Alright, there we go. So this looks like wings over here. Now, probably going to have a belly. It's going to go from here to maybe here. Just kind of drag this down. And then, let's see. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe just, if this is a tail feather, just some kind of indication to show that it's tail feather. And then This could actually be something like a stork's carrying a package, actually. But I'm just gonna leave it for now. I like this. Yeah. Alright, that makes it a little more interesting. So there's our first one. So this could be some kind of tired duck. Alright, then we're going to go to the next one. Slide the bar over a little bit. So if you saw how I did that, just left click and drag the bar over so I can see this one. And this one looks a lot different. I'm not sure what I'll do with this one. So like I said, if you can't think of anything, well, the best thing to do is add an eye. And there's all kinds of eyes we can make. We can make kind of a long eye. And then grab the brush again. We can make it looking back this way. So he's looking back. Maybe he's running away from somebody. And then we grab this reliable curved line tool. Now let's see. Bring this in just a little bit. Smirk on his face. This. There we go. Kind of happy. I'm getting away from this guy. Look, a little tiny circle. Let's see if I can there we go. Okay, now. This long neck somehow. There's a circle tool. We don't want to do that. Control Z. I've got to change tools here. Go to my curved line tool. I'm going to actually extend this down. Curve it down. The neck. And let's see, probably a tail over here. This would be wing going up. So you just start building, figuring out what things look like. And you get used to these tools as you begin to use them more. Grab. Oops, Control Z, forget that. So you can just, if you're happy with that first dragged line, if you're happy with the way it curves, then just click right where you left off. Alright, so let's see, maybe some feet for this guy. Maybe some circles. Maybe he's holding on to something. Draw this big circle. Medium circle, and beauty of this is you can nudge these over where you want them. And then maybe a small circle. And again, you can nudge these down with this arrow tool. This where you kind of want it. So those would be kind of the talons of this bird. And let's see. Oops, that's a circle. Control Z. Draw a couple straight lines. So there, his foot. Let's see, maybe So it's maybe some kind of bird creature. That looks pretty fun. You know, I could actually draw a line here. Make it almost look more like a dinosaur. Okay. Very good. And moving along. Right down to this one. Alright, on this one, let's see. If I made this into hair, maybe this is a feather sticking up. Some kind of hat. Let's see what we can do here. Oops. I just grab a line from up there. We want that curved line to it. We're going to come from here down to here, and then we're going to curve. Now you notice I start where my left click up near the place where I started the line. Let me just show you that, because again, that might make it a little more easy for you to use this curved line tool. When you draw the curved line, if you want a perfect arch, you have to remember where you started your line and start from that side. Start to bend it from that side, and then bring it up to start your curve the way you want it, and then you can grab again and finish your curve, and that gives you more of an arced line. And again, practice that, because you'll get the hang of it, and you get those arced lines now, and you're gonna have no trouble. Bring this down as a headband, I think. I'm going to grab my straight line tool just to finish this off. And then here as well. Alright, that way this back here could look more like hair, maybe a ponytail sticking out. Just give it some kind of hair-like texture. Slightly. Something like that. And then maybe put some of these diamond shapes in here just for some kind of pattern. All right, and so it looks like his hair is kind of flying out wildly. Alright, and then let's see. This might be the nose. And then here to here. That's a pretty big nose. And nudge it up one. Now that's a huge nose. Alright, let me see if I can bring this a little closer. Yeah, nudge that up. So there's a nose. Let's see, we're gonna need an eye. Let's try that other eye we used before. This time use a curved line tool. And then we could put a little spray brush in there. Grab that spray brush, go to the small spray brush. And again, just make sure you select the spray brush, and we can have him looking down here. And then back to the line tool, curve line tool. And let's put his eyes look a little dreary. We'll go ahead and give him a smile. You could leave it like that, or you could even bring this up here, just bend this down slightly, and then put some straight teeth in there. Just Control Z, get rid of that little dot. Alright, this one's shaping up. I actually like this one. This guy could be some kind of rock and roll star with his headband and his maybe his bandana. Yeah, I like that. Alright, next one. Is this the last one? Yeah, we've got our duck and our other objects. I'm going to bring this guy over as far as I can. Bring this up. I don't want to go too far up. Right about there. Alright, for this shape, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to bring this up here. This kind of looks to me like a good place for a little curve. Maybe a jawline. I'm going to take my circle tool. I'm going to put this in first of all. This kind of looks to me like a that's kind of cool. Alright, this kind of looks like an underbite, like a big chin. Alright, I'm going to put my eye somewhere in here. Let me just try something here. Let me just put a little eye. Alright, Control Z, 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 Z. Control Z. Alright, that looks like I'll put an eye there. I just kind of wanted to put a placeholder there for a second. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then put a straight line here just to close this off. Good. Which way do we want him to look? Well, that's up to you. Put that brush tool in there. I'm going to have him looking up. He's going to be looking up. maybe the nostril right in here. There we go. Maybe straight line to connect it. Or you know what? I'll use a curved line. Come across and then bend out. And a little straight line to connect this. Alright, then put some teeth. Alright, so he's got some teeth here. Interesting creature. These will be his teeth. Ah, interesting. There we go. Almost looks like a shark with a couple of fins. Alright, what can we do down here? Well, let's see, draw my line tool down in here. Oops, that's a straight line tool. Let's draw a curved line tool. Just to give it some depth. And maybe a couple straight lines here just to give it some form. Let's say a straight line. So don't forget to turn it back to a curved line if that's what you want. Like that. I don't know what it is, but I kind of like it. Seems like it needs something up here. Let me just try something here. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I don't know what it is, but I'll put a couple circles on it just for some kind of surface pattern. Just to make it look interesting. Alright, now again, I don't know what it is, but it'll work. Select that and delete it. Okay, so we've got some creatures here now. If we zoom back out, all of these, every one of these will tessellate, because they are made from the same exact tessellating shape that we designed earlier. So our next move is going to be actually take these and come up with a tessellation design made out of them and add some color. Okay, so let's pick out what we're gonna do. We could actually do a couple of these. We could do a duck rotating with this kind of fish looking thing, or this flying bird. Um, Really, it doesn't matter. Or we could do this shark looking object with this or with this. I kind of like the shark looking thing in the bird, or I like the Indian guy in this sort of bird as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and click on my selection tool, rectangular selection tool, and I'm going to select these two. Now I'm going to have to drag this out to select both of them. Oops, Control Z, undo that. We don't want that happening. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is just make sure I grab both of these guys. Alright, that's better. Control C. And then I'm going to go up here and click on New. And I want a new document. I want to save the changes. And I'm going to create a new document. Again, we're going to drag this out. Oops, that's a little too far. Alright, I'm going to drag it out so I can see it still. I want to make sure I can still see it. Then I'm going to hit Control V, and I'll paste these guys on. Alright, and then using, again, still with the selection tool, I'm going to move this into the corner here. It's kind of touching in the corner. Here, here, and the tip of the nose too, just so it blocks off the area. Then I'm going to take this guy, and see, it's not transparent. I got to go here to select, click on this button, transparent selection, and that's why I can put this guy right here where he fits perfectly. Alright, good. Alright, and I can click off of that. Then I can hit Control V, move these guys over, because I am going to have these guys on the clipboard. So I take this one. In fact, I'm going to leave these guys over here so that I can refer back to them. Alright. So now I'm going to rotate using this guy. Control C, Control V. Give me another copy, which he'll fit right here. Perfect. Then I'll take this guy. Control C, Control V. Put him here. Alright. Then click, Control V. Now I gotta find out where's another place this guy's gonna fit. And it looks like I can rotate right 90 degrees. Looks like he'll fit right there, but actually that's supposed to be the bird, I think. Let me see. Yeah, he's supposed to be the bird. So what I'm going to do, leave that guy down there. Bring this guy up. Control C, Control V. 90-degree rotate. Rotate to the right. And let's see. doesn't go there. Rotate again. There we go, that fits right in there, perfect. So that was it. I had to rotate it twice to get that guy in. Alright. And then this guy, I'm going to rotate him again. Rotate to the right. And he should fit right there. Perfect. And make sure I can see him. Then nudge him back in. Then I'm just going to nudge that guy up and back. Okay, very good. And then if I can, I'll put another one in here. Let's see, this guy needs to go there. So Control V. And this is the bird. So we will rotate 2 times. And that should fit right in there. Like we did earlier. Good. Select this guy. So we're going to select this guy. Control C. Control V. Rotate right. Rotate right. He should fit right in there. Perfect. And that's basically what you're going to do, is you're going to keep rotating these guys and fitting them into place until the whole screen is filled. Now let's see if we can take the whole thing now. Let's get rid of this guy. Now he'll show you how to select this guy without doing too much harm. You're going to go here and click the freeform selection tool. Start over here and just draw around what you want selected. We want this guy selected. We're going to bring him up, put him in here. And this guy, if we want him selected, we freeform draw him all the way back around. He will be selected at this point, and we do need to put him in there. Good. So now at this point, what we could do is actually select from, let's see what happens if we select this whole thing. Oops. Control Z. Control Y to redo. Now this time I want the regular selection tool. I'm going to select everything that we've done so far. So I'm going to get right over here and select all of it. Control C. Again, Control V gives me another copy. to the wing down in here. So I have to select it over here. So I get all that. Control C and Control V should give me what I need. There it is. I fit this piece in place. And that should do it. Okay. I am missing a little bit of a head, so again, find any pieces you're missing, Control C, Control V, and just put them into place. And that's a rotation tessellation right there. I need this piece right here. A couple of times I'm missing it, so I do have to find that piece, and it looks like it's right here. The bird wraps into the Indian right here, so right there, Control C, Control V. It's going to fit right here. Perfect. Control V, give me another copy, put it right here. Control V, give me another copy and put it right here. And that's it. I click on Save, Rotation Tessellation, Bird, and Guy. Now it's just a case of going in and coloring this guy. So that's the fun part. We're going to decide what color we want the bird, what color we want the guy, and then we go do it. Remember, you can go to Edit Colors and pick any of the colors that you want. I like this kind of my bird. Maybe purple. Yeah, that looks good, the purple bird. And then also, I need this part of his wing as well. So right near there, that circle on his foot, that part gets colored into. Make sure you don't forget that part. Alright, and then the Indian, or the guy, we're going to take him, put him over, maybe a brown, some kind of a tone, there we go. Alright, good. Got the purple here. Have to go back and hit that. This guy's head. It's here. I forgot the purple. Now then I'm going to do some reds. And that's how we color the rotation tessellation. I called this one bird and guide. Now again, you could go back and use our other two by simply selecting them, opening them. We could use our other two from here, rotation tessellation options, and we could actually do all four of these. We could actually fit each of these together and create a four-way rotation tessellation. So I'd like to encourage you to do some of those things and play around with some of these ideas. And again, that's our rotation tessellation bird and guide. Another thing you could do is save this as another version and then change the colors. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned a great deal about creating rotation tessellations using the Windows 7 Paint program.